Hello, Professor Zenkov. Um, Thank you for letting me submit my submission for the analytical review late. I asked three different people what reading meant to them and how they feel that young adult books can help young adults be prepared for the future and how they think it can change the world. And I got a few different answers. At the Old Town bookstore, I did not speak to Kai, but there was this older gentleman. I don't even want to call him older, but he's just, he could have blonde hair. But I think he's British, across the pond, definitely. But he told me that the young adult genre came out really in the early 2010s. And so before, people were reading a lot of books that were just child books, and then there was adult books, but there was nothing in between for people to read or practice or anything like that. So what he said to me was that young adult books really created that bridge for the child to adult reader. And they found that there was this huge gap where this audience wasn't being met. And when Divergent and Hunger Games and Twilight and stuff like that all came out, they found all these students or readers coming out and being very excited to be a part of the conversation and get their thoughts across and be understood and stuff. I thought that was really amazing because in the books that I've read, I read All My Rage, which their chapter, it's the chapter isn't called a chapter. Just kidding. It's called Chapter 37, and it's in the perspective of Mispa. And Mispa is Saud's mom, and she is sick, and she couldn't go get medicine because she had to take care of the motel in order to keep the family business afloat. And Saud is the son, and he's very upset with his father because he doesn't understand why his father is drunk all the time and never there, and he blames his father for being the reason that, his mom eventually ends up dying. And at the hospital, when she died, his dad was throwing a fit and was drunk, and there was officers there trying to arrest him. So Saud had to take his father home instead of being with his mother, and he got to miss that moment with her. So he has a lot of animosity and regret from that moment, but with his father because of all of these actions. Whereas this chapter really gave us a lot of insight about what really happened. I don't know if there's one moment in this chapter that really sums it up. The whole chapter is about the fact that Saud was assaulted when he was a little kid. In the motel, he loved to play in the laundry room. Saudin loved to wander around the motel from the moment he could walk. His favorite place was the laundry room. He'd seek it out on sturdy little legs when I was changing the sheets or sweeping the parking lot. I'd pretend I had no idea where he'd gone, and then he'd flip on the lights and sweep from under me. And it goes on to explain that he liked to play in there all the time. She ends up going to sleep, and there was a guy who had paid with cash in order to get that room, and he was gone by the time that they had found Saud. But they found their son in the laundry room without pants, and it does say later in the chapter, Saud won't remember this assault. The doctor who told us this was young, with kind eyes, and sad. So it's a really heavy topic. I actually bought all of the books for this class. So this is actually a really fun video to do, just because I have a client who has a daughter who likes to read, and so I told him that I would donate all my books to him. And it was this book, and it was how it feels to float, where I was like, I don't know if he would appreciate me giving it to them, because this one in this chapter, it does reference assault, but then I had to remember that this is a young adult book and it's specifically made for this demographic. And so to withhold the information or to second guess the information was kind of crazy, right? So anyways, I told him about it just because I'm not a parent and I don't want to ever overstep bounds. And the other one also has to do with suicide, so I don't know how touchy that topic is, or if anybody has ever attempted in the family, so I wouldn't want to trigger anything there either. So I let him know that those two books have two separate topics that might be a little bit controversial for him. So he's having his wife read them over before he hands them over, but all the rest, I'm just super excited that she gets to read all the books that I read and experience maybe different things that I experienced within the books. And I hope that she ends up reading those next, or the books are appropriate enough for her to read, because even though they were a heavy topic, they were a powerful topic, and I think that they needed to be said. I think another thing that was told to me by the other person that I interviewed, this person has a small child. He's not young adult yet, but I asked him, what do you think that you would want books to do for your son? How do you think that you would want them influenced for your son? And he was on the same wave, where he said that young adult books are a powerful getaway for our future leaders to begin the process of being literate and understanding the world around them, which I thought was a really awesome way to, get his son involved with books. And then the last person that I interviewed, they felt that young adult books can change the world because they build empathy in younger people. So I think that with all of those things encompassed, and by the way, the last person that I interviewed is a school teacher. However, she's not an English school teacher. She's a science school teacher, but she still reads and she still works with young adults. So I thought that she would be a good one to at least talk to. I thought that they would all be a good person to kind of get a more versatile answer, because I chose someone who worked at a bookstore. I chose someone who is a teacher to, if not young adult, like a young adult, right? Not a child, but not a young adult, maybe young adult. And then I chose someone who has a son and is a confident reader and likes to read and stuff, and his son likes to read. So I felt all of those I would be able to really encompass what young adults can, or what young adult books can do for the future generation. Thank you so much for an awesome semester, Zenikoff. Bye.